Let's move on to other stories. Reports say the European Union is poised to impose sanctions against more DR Congo officials amid worsening violence in the resource-rich country since President Joseph Kabila outstayed his mandate and pushed back elections. A source in Brussels says the EU will add 9 names to its Congo blacklist of people subjected to asset freezes and travel bans. They join 7 others, including members of the Congolese army and police, that the bloc put on its list in December, citing serious violations of human rights. The bloc's 28 member states are expected to approve the enlarged sanctions list at a meeting in Brussels later on today. Meanwhile, the DR Congo's Attorney General Florent Numbi says that he has opened an investigation into former Minister Clement Kanku's alleged role in the militia violence in central Congo that killed a UN employee. His announcement follows a report by the New York Times that Zayda Catalan, a UN investigator killed in March in the Central Democratic Republic of Congo, had a recording of a phone call between ex-development minister Clement Kanku and a presumed militia member. In it, the newspaper says Kanku is heard speaking approvingly of violence perpetrated by the Kamwina Nsapu militia, whose insurrection against government forces in the Kasai region has resulted in hundreds of deaths and displaced more than 1 million people since last July 2016. Mr. Kanku has rejected all the allegations. The Italian Coast Guard says at least 20 migrants, some of them young children, have drowned after falling into the sea off the Libyan coast. The overcrowded boat was carrying some 500 migrants and a rescue operation is underway. The central Mediterranean route for illegal migration to Europe is currently the busiest. More than 50,000 migrants have reached Italy this year. The route is also the most deadly, accounting for the vast majority of the 1,364 people who the UN estimates have drowned in the Mediterranean this year. Meanwhile, the U.S. ambassador to Libya, Peter Rode, has pledged Washington's support for its UN-backed government as he made a brief visit to the country for the first time in nearly 3 years. Mr. Bode, who is based in Tunis, and Marine General Thomas Vadehauser, the top U.S. military commander overseeing troops in Africa, flew into Tripoli for 2 hours to meet the Prime Minister of Libya's government of national accord and other senior officials. The U.S. ambassador says that he welcomes efforts to introduce a new constitution as well as economic reforms. The trip comes after uncertainty over U.S. policy in Libya following Donald Trump's election as president in November.
We reiterated United States support for Libya as a unified, secure, and prosperous state under a government that can serve the Libyan people. We applaud the ongoing Libyan dialogue on how to form a government that has broad acceptance across Libya within the framework of the Skhirat Agreement. We welcome Libyan efforts to draft and ratify a new constitution and to hold general elections next year. We also support the government of national accord making the difficult decisions required to invigorate the economy.
The former health minister and foreign minister of Ethiopia, Tedros Adhanom, has been elected as the new Director General of the World Health Organization. The 52-year-old will succeed outgoing Margaret Chan, who has been the WHO's Director General since January 1, 2007. Adhanom served as Ethiopia's foreign minister from 2012 to 2016 and Minister of Health from 2005 to 2012. Adhanom will begin his 5-year term on July the 1st.
I will never forget the people we serve, because all we do is for the people we serve. But they're not here in Geneva listening to our speeches, but rather suffering from preventable illnesses or being impoverished by seeking health care. Together, we will save and improve the lives of our most vulnerable brothers and sisters. This is my most solemn commitment to you.
In Nigeria, the Senate's Committee on Power and Steel Development is disturbed by the slow completion of the 215 kVA Kudenda power plant and other independent power projects in Kaduna State. Chairman of the committee, Senator A. Nayabaribe, during an oversight visit to the project sites, expressed displeasure with the uncertainty surrounding the completion of the power projects.
The epileptic power situation nationwide remains a source of concern to many, as it has negative effect on the nation's economy. The sale of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria to private investors was seen as the dawn of a new era, but this is yet to make the desired impact.
How much certainty do we have that these discos are actually not playing some sharp corners? Who is supposed to be the eyes of the public?
The current meter they were using were actually not in line with the standard requirements of the metering code. Instead of 240, it was 230, and instead of the current 250 amps, it was 150.
There are 18 national integrated power projects